Today, we're going to be talking about how to decline a job offer and negotiating that money.
I'm Jen, a career coach and your go-to gal for all things career advice.
And I'm Gina, and hopefully we're going to help some people get their next job.
Welcome to Job Search Stories.
This season, we've been reacting to Reddit posts.
My favorite kind of social media.
Your favorite kind of social media. We're going to see some reasons that people have turned down job offers.
Okay, I'm ready to get into them.
This one says, strike one, they showed up late to the interview. Assuming you're my boss, I expect you to be organized. I mean,
was strike one the only strike?
I guess they were like, strike one and done.
One and done. You're late.
They were like, you're late? No tardiness. I can't take it.
No, not even with did they have a good excuse?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I would not decline a job just because the interviewer turned up late. Would you?
I mean, I think I would be a little offended, especially if they didn't care. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just with the interviewee, there's a lot of pressure to be almost perfect. Yeah. But then when it's on the other side, like you can be late, you can not respect my time.
Yeah. I also wonder how late too.
Yeah.
Because if it's a couple minutes, you're like, all right.
That's fine. Yeah.
But if you're 15 minutes late to a 30-minute interview, that's completely disrespectful.
It's not nice. Yeah. Okay. Let's read another one. This one says, last 5 minutes of an interview, employee came to inform manager of a problem. The manager was a complete, not nice person to him, told me everything I needed to know about him and the work environment.
It's unfortunate to see that, but talk about dodging a bullet. I would turn down a job offer if the interviewer was mean.
I mean, it's like Undercover Boss. When they're like, oh, like this manager is actually horrible.
It's like looking into a crystal ball and seeing your toxic future.
Yeah,
and saying,
sure.
Actually,
that's not
going to do that.
Oh, no, thank you.
No.
I think that's a very valid reason to turn down a job offer.
Yeah.
And it's very awkward. That's it. Okay.
So I've got one for you. It says, I got a verbal offer and they wanted an answer over the phone on the spot.
We have talked about this. Like
pressure tactics.
Exactly. Like what to do if you're being pressured.
Mm-hmm.
I would decline a job offer if they pressured me to take it.
It depends on how close the offer was to what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
If it's kind of within my range and you really kind of push back and ask, hey, can you just give me the evening to think about it? And they say no.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you have enough information to make a decision. But if it comes in and it's really far off and you know you want to counter and they're not giving you the space to do it, I could see why you would want to decline.
Once again, a thing about respect. I think if I was being pressured to do anything, I would probably not want to do it, you know?
Right.
But that's just because I have an attitude. So you're a seasoned career coach. What are some other reasons you've heard of people turning down job offers?
So I think one of the more common reasons is salary. Mm-hmm. If an offer comes in and the company is unwilling to negotiate, sometimes they're also getting competitive job offers from another company. Mm-hmm. So it is really common for people to decline because they interviewed somewhere else and the other package was better. Sometimes it's the red flags that we've talked about here, where they saw signs in the interview that maybe the company wasn't going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the job actually ends up being a little bit different than what the posting was.
Yeah.
So if you thought you were interviewing for a manager level position and they offer you something more at the associate level, well, that doesn't meet your expectations. So you might no longer be interested in the role.
What are some of those red flags that people should notice to decline a job offer?
Well, I think it goes back to your expectations. Mm-hmm. If you have a really great understanding of what the job was, and that goes back to responsibilities as well as salary, and you're finding in the verbal offer or in those final communications that, okay, this is not matching what I thought it was. This is not meeting my expectation. That would be a flag that you would want to decline if you have that space too, because understandably, sometimes we just need a job. And so it really is a position of privilege to just say like, I'm not going to take this one.
Yeah.
You might find yourself in a position where this is the only offer you've received and you've been job searching for a while. So if you find yourself in that position, you know, there is always the option to accept this one, but continue your search.
Have you ever declined a job offer but wanted it back?
No.
Well, Some Reddit users have. So let's read this Reddit post.
Sure.
So this Reddit user says, declined a job offer, but kind of want it back.
Ooh, wait, but Gina, you didn't even answer. Have you ever declined a job and then wanted it?
No.
Okay. I feel like we're turning down job offers that we don't want.
I don't want to work. Okay.
All right. Back to the post.
So this says, I declined a job offer because of low pay and was waiting on an interview response from another job that pays more and has a better title. As the days pass, I am less and less hopeful that I will get a response or a job offer from the job I wanted. I told the job offer I'll be taking a role in clinical research in a couple weeks, but I still haven't gotten a job offer, just more interviews. How would I even go about contacting the manager again to possibly get the job back? What would I say? They are still hiring. How should someone go about re-engaging a company after they already rejected a job offer?
Don't be ashamed of reaching back out to a company that you've rejected. You're going to want to connect with the person that you've had kind of the closest relationship with and who you've been communicating with the most. So a lot of times it'll be the recruiter, sometimes it'll be the hiring manager, but you'll want to reach out to them. Email is a great way to do it. You'll want to thank them for their time. Hopefully it hasn't been too much time since you have spoken to them, but address kind of what you've been doing in the interim. Let them know you were thankful for the offer when it came in. At that time, it wasn't a good fit for you and why, and then clearly explain why now you're better suited either for that position or you're open to interviewing for another role. Of course, express gratitude, but do know that you may have to reapply. You may have to re-interview. You might have to start that job process or the hiring process with them all over again. Just saying, oh, well, another offer fell through. That ain't it.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrible idea.
That's not the way to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
In this particular situation, there was a different route that they could have gone when they were just navigating those two offers.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a position where you've been interviewing with multiple companies and you've received an offer from one and you're still waiting on an offer from another one, you can absolutely use that as leverage and go back to the company that you're awaiting an offer from and let them know, hi, I'm really interested in this company. This is actually the number one opportunity that I'm looking at. But as I let you know, I have been interviewing and have received a job offer.
Yeah.
As I said, I am more interested in this company. Would you be able to let me know how soon I would be expecting an offer from you?
Yeah.
And that's great. You can use that and that can actually rush the process for you. And then in turn, with the company that you already have an offer with, you can let them know, hey, thank you so much for sending this. Can you send this to me in writing? Mm-hmm. I'd really like until the end of the week to make a decision.
Yeah.
That way you can buy yourself some time so that you can actually compare the two offers side by side, make an educated decision without cutting off connection to one of those offers.
For sure. Especially if you're in the position where it's like, you need a job. You just shouldn't just decline the other one.
Because you have no idea what's going to happen. Like in this situation, you could feel so good, right? You're like, oh, I've been interviewing great.
Yeah.
They already said they love me. I can really see myself there. But until you have that offer in hand, it's not an offer.
We've kind of alluded to this, but now let's talk about some common mistakes that people make when they're negotiating their salary. And Reddit is the perfect place to do this. This post is called, How Do I Go About Negotiating Salary When I Gave My Initial Range? In the first call with the recruiter, she called to ask me what my salary expectations were. I was not expecting this during the first call, so I threw out a range of 65 to 75. This was my first mistake. After about 4 rounds of interviews, I was offered the job. When I received the offer letter, my compensation said $68K. I want to negotiate to $75K. How would you recommend I do this? I gave the range and they gave me a number within the range. The research I've done says the average is about $74K. That is a mistake that a lot of people deal with. And I would say, I think I know what you're going to say, that you should definitely expect to discuss salary with the recruiter in the first interview.
Absolutely. But I will say the mistake that she claims she made is not something that she couldn't recover from.
Yeah.
She received an offer that was in the band that she gave, and it's actually on par with the industry standard.
Yeah.
So she did okay for just kind of pulling a number out there. She had some idea of what she should be making.
Yeah, especially without doing research before
Good
and
for
then
you.
doing the research after. I would have been like, yes. So
I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
She still ended up in a place where she has some flexibility. So if she was looking to be on the higher end and she had a time machine and could go back, one thing that she should have done is asked for a salary where the bottom is actually a little bit higher than what she's really looking for. So if she's looking for 75, her salary expectation should have been something like 75 to 85.
Yeah.
But that's okay because she just wants 75. So it's perfectly fine for her to counter and to reach out to the recruiter, thank them for the offer that they've given, but reinforce what her experience and her background is and how she's able to provide value and why that puts her in line with the top of the band.
Why is it a mistake not to conduct any research before your first interview with a recruiter?
It's a mistake to not do any type of research before an interview because it is very common for companies to ask you what your salary expectations are. So when you go into that situation, not having done any type of research and not really knowing what your actual needs are, you're going in blindly. So like this user, you could be setting yourself a rate that is well below industry standards. And when they do come back with an offer, it's below not just what you deserve as a professional, but maybe what you even need to live.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the next Reddit post. This one says, how do you negotiate salary when there's no natural opening to do so? It says, in 2020, I was looking for a job and had a tough time finding one. I was fresh out of grad school and had been working contract jobs at a large tech company for 1 year to get by. Because of that, when I got the offer for my current job, I accepted immediately without negotiating. Recently, I found out that I'm being seriously underpaid for what I'm doing. $55K is the minimum for my field, with $65K being the max. I'm currently making $40K. That's a tough one. So why is it a mistake to accept a salary without negotiating?
It's a mistake to accept a salary without negotiating because there's so much lost earning over the lifetime. And we've given out this stat before, but I do think it's such an important one for people to hear because it's staggering. But when we talk about lost earning potential, it's estimated to be between $1 to $1.5 million over a lifetime. And that's substantial money.
Yeah.
So for this particular person, what they could do in their current company is actually build a salary review case.
Yeah.
So they could actually put a case together, really focused on what they have been doing in the current role. What impact have they been making? And then backing it up with that industry data to say, this is the salary that I would like to be at. If you're going to go that route, just know sometimes because budgets for internal employees are lower, you may not be successful at getting one. It may not be the salary that you're looking for. So you might be better off continuing a job search because you can make a significant increase just from job hopping.
For sure. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Job Search Stories. And if you like this episode, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a comment down below, and we can answer any of your questions. So, bye.
Bye.
Is the minimum for my field. So why is it? If you have any questions for us or...
I was literally looking all over the place.